Welcome back to my YouTube channel, and in today's video we're going to be going through an update on the performance of my stock market investments. If you're new to my channel, hi, my name is Monty. I'm in my 20s. I currently have 6 figures sitting in the stock market, and on this channel I try to be as financially transparent as possible. I document my long-term investments to show you that it is possible to build generational wealth as long as you understand the fundamentals, as long as you understand the basics. Investing into the stock market, in my opinion, is one of the easiest ways to guarantee your financial future. I've been investing into the stock market for coming up to 4 years now. I recently hit 6 figures in the stock market and I'm on my way to 7. So if you want to stay updated to see how my portfolio performs, make sure you subscribe to the channel because I document my portfolio every single week. But anyway, let's get right into the video. So we're going to kick things off showing you how my Vanguard investment portfolio has performed. From there, we'll then move on to InvestEngine. I'll show you how that account has performed. And then last but not least, we'll end the video showing my Trading212 account. So yes, my people, let's get right into it. A quick shout out to today's sponsor, InvestEngine.com. It's a platform I've been using recently, and honestly, it makes researching and tracking stocks so much easier. When you're first getting into the stock market, it can feel pretty overwhelming. There's just so much information and so many options to choose from. But with InvestEngine.com's ProPicks AI feature, everything becomes way more straightforward. So what actually is ProPicks AI? In a nutshell, it's a blend of artificial intelligence and expert human analysis to spotlight stocks with the potential to outperform market benchmarks. The platform has a variety of strategies to choose from, but it's the tech titan strategy specifically that stood out to me. Basically, it focuses on big US tech names, but instead of just listing them, it actually ranks them and tracks them using real data and fundamentals. You can see which ones are trending, what's driving their growth, and how the strategy has performed over time. And guess what? The tech titan strategy has massively outperformed the S&P 500 benchmark. What I really like about this feature though is that it's not just surface level stuff. You can dig into things like fair value and whether a particular stock is undervalued, fairly priced or overvalued, and much, much more, all in one centralized dashboard. If you're into the stock market like me and want to make smarter investment decisions, then check out Investing Pro through the link in the description. They're currently running a huge Black Friday deal right now, up to 55% off, plus an extra 15% when you use my code MontyLane at checkout. All right guys, so I've just logged into Vanguard. It's currently the 24th of November. And as you can see on my screen, I currently have £92,964.53 sitting in my Vanguard account. Now, very quickly, this money is split across my stocks and shares ISA as well as my SIPP account, but the majority of this money is in my stocks and shares ISA. I think about 80% of it is sitting in the ISA, and then of course the remaining 20% is sitting in my SIPP account. Now scrolling down, as always, we're gonna go through the amount of deposits I've put into this account. So I have contributed £68,178.52. And as a result of investing that money, I am now sitting at a positive return of £24,785.02, which leaves me with a rate of return of 54.84%. And it's important to realize that this rate of return is a time-weighted rate of return. Now scrolling down to the graph that sits behind these numbers, you can see, I believe I started this portfolio back in, if I scroll up again, sorry, I started this portfolio on the 17th of January, 2023. And as you can see, over time, over the months, over the years, I've contributed towards this portfolio. And as a result of investing into this portfolio, of course, the account's gone up and up and up. You can see there's been moments where things have gone down ever so slightly, but of course the general trend of this graph is an upwards momentum, which is of course very nice to see because it means we're making money. Now, if you look at the graph very closely, you can see there's been a bit of a sell-off recently. So let's head over to the month tab and let's see how my Vanguard account has performed so far in the month of November. So here is my data for November. You can see I started the month with a beginning balance of £95,527.43. This was actually an all-time high for my Vanguard account. And as you can see, so far in November, my personal investment return is sitting at a negative £3,071.98. which leaves me with a total balance as of the 24th of November of £92,964.53. Of course, my cumulative return is still in the green, so I'm sitting at a total profit or a total return in this account of £24,785.02. However, it's just this month specifically that my Vanguard has took a bit of a loss. And of course, like I said, that loss is £3,071.98. I'm not really too bothered about the loss that my Vanguard account has incurred so far this month, because lately the stock market has been doing really, really well. So if I scroll down, you can see in October, I made £4,225.91. September, another really good month, I made £3,308.62. August, a bit of a slow month, £217.81. July, £4,577.43. And in June, £2,540.92. So things have been performing really, really well over the past 5 or 6 months. And yeah, that's why I'm not too bothered about what's been happening so far this month, because things have been going from strength to strength, so I'm not too bothered about that. Anyway, that wraps up my Vanguard update. Just to confirm, I currently have £92,964.53 sitting in my Vanguard account. Now, if you want to know exactly what this money is invested in, check out my previous video, because I went into detail as to what I'm invested in this account in that video. So yeah, feel free to check it out after you finish watching this video. Now let's head over to my second biggest account, which is of course InvestEngine, and let's see how my InvestEngine portfolio has performed so far in the month of November. So here's my InvestEngine account. In this account, I have a total balance of £11,077.70. And I'm currently sitting at a positive return of £1,731.91. Now guys, I am making a huge change. So I am actually in the process of transferring my funds out of InvestEngine over to Trading212. And the reason I've decided to do this was just because it was getting quite lengthy managing multiple accounts, or should I say using multiple brokerages. So yeah, I'm currently in the process of transferring my funds out of InvestEngine over to Trading212. And of course, that will mean I only have Vanguard and Trading212 going forward. The process itself is going to take about up to 4 weeks. So I guess if I record more portfolio update videos during that time, I still will of course be documenting my InvestEngine numbers. However, like I said, I am moving this money over to Trading212. So eventually it will be just Vanguard and Trading212 that I'll be using going forward. So yeah, if you've got any questions about transferring ISAs and moving money from one broker to another, feel free to just drop a comment and I'll either make a video or I'll reply directly to your comment. But yeah, let's get into my InvestEngine stocks and shares ISA. So right now, like I said, I've got £11,077.70. Here you can see the chart that sits behind that number. And if we scroll down, you can see what this account is invested in. So the majority of the money in this account is in the Invesco FTSE All World. The ticker code for this is FWRG. I currently have £5,912.73 sitting in the FWRG. Next up, we have the Vanguard S&P 500. Ticker code for this is VUAG. And I have £3,614.02 in VUAG. And then last but not least, we have the X-Trackers NASDAQ 100. I like to call this fund my tech giant just because it's very tech intensive. The ticker code for this is XNAQ. And I currently have £1,550.92 sitting in XNAQ. So yeah, guys, that wraps up the update for my InvestEngine stock and shares ISA. Like I said, I currently have just over £11,000 in this account, and I'm currently in the process of transferring this money over to Trading212. So stay tuned for more news on that. Now, speaking of Trading212, let's head over to the app and let's see how my Trading212 accounts have performed. All right, so I've just logged into my Trading212 ISA. Now, for those who are new to my channel, I hold 2 accounts within Trading212. So I've got a stocks and shares ISA, and I've also got a general investment account. I'll show you in a moment what that general investment account looks like. But first, let's take a look at the stocks and shares ISA. So in this stocks and shares ISA, I currently have £645.48. I'm sitting at a total return of £47.48, which results in a rate of return of 21.2%. Now at the bottom of the screen, you can see the InvestEngine icon along with the portfolio transfer text. And of course, like I mentioned earlier on, I'm currently in the process of moving my funds over from InvestEngine to Trading212. And in terms of setting that up, you always initiate that transfer on the brokerage that you want to move the money to. So for example, in my case, I'm moving the money over to Trading212. So I set up the ISA transfer from Trading212. They initiate the transfer. They contact my previous provider, which was of course InvestEngine, and they deal and take care of the whole process. There's absolutely no fee for this feature at all. You literally just provide them with all of the relevant details and they do everything behind the scenes. Like I said earlier on, it takes about 4 weeks to complete. However, it can complete much, much quicker. And of course, I'm gonna be documenting this weekly, so you guys will see exactly how long it takes. Anyway, let's take a look at the holdings that sit behind my Trading212 stocks and shares ISA. So very similar to the InvestEngine holdings that I just previously showed you, the majority of the money in this stocks and shares ISA is in the Invesco FTSE All World. I currently have £340.96 allocated to this fund. Next up, I have £170.56 allocated to the Vanguard S&P 500 fund. And this one is the accumulating version. So there's two versions. There's the distributing version and there's the accumulating version. And I've decided to go with the accumulating version. And this essentially just means that all of the dividends I receive from this fund are automatically reinvested. So I don't have to manually do anything. Next up, I currently have £77.44 allocated to the Open Door technology stock, which has took an absolute beating. It's currently down by 22.44%. Yeah, not too great. We won't talk much on that, but I'm really hoping that over the weeks, over the months, it picks back up again. And then last but not least, I currently have £56.52 invested in the X-Trackers Nasdaq 100. So that wraps up my Trading212 stocks and shares ISA. Now let's head over to my Trading212 general investment account and see what that's looking like. All right, so welcome to my Trading212 general investment account. Now, a lot of you will probably be wondering, why do I have a general investment account? So I've recently relocated over to Dubai. I'm no longer a UK tax-paying resident, which means I can't actively contribute towards a stocks and shares ISA, which is why I've set this up. So I can only put money into a general investment account going forward. I can't actively invest into ISAs anymore. I can keep the money in my ISAs, I just can't actively put more money into them. But anyway, I currently have £112.39 sitting in my Trading212 general investment account. In terms of what I'm invested in this account, again, very, very similar to what I just showed you. The majority of the money is in the Invesco FTSE All World. I have £67.38 allocated to this fund. I have £33.83 allocated to the Vanguard S&P 500. And then I have £11.16 allocated to the X-Trackers Nasdaq 100. So yeah, that wraps up my Trading212 general investment account, short and sweet. Now let's add up all of my accounts, which include Vanguard, InvestEngine and Trading212, and let's see what my final total portfolio balance is sitting at as of the 24th of November. All right, so I've just added these numbers up behind the scenes and the breakdown is as follows. So in my Vanguard account, I had £92,964.53 invested. In InvestEngine, I had £11,077.70 invested. And then in Trading212 across my stocks and shares ISA, as well as my general investment account, I have a total amount invested of £758.13, which leaves me with a grand total of £104,809.36. I'm quite happy about this number, to be honest. In the last portfolio update video that I put out on YouTube, I believe I had about £103,000 invested. So yeah, this is a nice new all-time high. If you didn't check out my previous video, I'll leave a link for you to watch it either here or here. I never get it right, so yeah, one of these two, there's going to be a link to watch my previous update. But guys, if you enjoyed the video, please drop a like, drop a comment, and if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do consider subscribing because it really does help with the algorithm. Anyway guys, I'm going to catch you guys back here next week for another portfolio update video. Peace out.